All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Today, we're going to talk about something that I never talk about, which is Solana. And to do that, we have a bunch of smart folks with us. So I'll let you guys kind of go one by one, starting with Chris, and intro yourselves, and also what your company does.
All right, hey guys, thanks for having me here. My name is Chris Zhu. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sonic SVM. Sonic is the first atomic gaming chain on top of Solana. So we call it atomic because we are the first SVM environment that is fully interoperable with base layer for developers to deploy on. So any game developer that builds on top of Solana can also deploy on Sonic and vice versa. So far, we've been going to testnet with the last 2 months or so, and have achieved around 1.8 million active wallets for all of the gaming users across the globe, and really building a isolated gaming environment on top of Solana to avoid hotspots. So that's a little bit about Sonic.
Oh, hey, I'm Lynn. I'm Cube CEO. We are a hybrid exchange. Hybrid in the change that in the sense that we have our own MPC wallet infrastructure, and then we have centralized limit order book. We went live about 9 months ago. Up to this point, we have a decent decent amount of users, and then we listed quite a few Solana projects, and that's probably why I'm here. Yeah, nice to meet everyone.
Hello. Oh, it's working now. Hey everyone, I'm Cindy. I'm a co-founder of Drift. We are the largest perpetual DEX on Solana, and we also launched prediction markets very recently. So we've expanded from being a pure perpetuals exchange to borrow, lend, spot trading, and now also prediction markets. We are essentially, we've been in Solana since 2021 and started off as a virtual AMM, and now we have a hybrid exchange structure where we have multiple liquidity mechanisms, including just-in-time liquidity, order book, and AMM as well. Our core thesis is that everything should be on-chain and all trading should happen on-chain. Solana is the perfect home for us because there's a multitude of assets on Solana that are tradable and usable as collateral. So that ties into our thesis that you can use anything as a collateral on Solana to be able to trade. So yeah, huge fan of everyone here and excited to speak today.
Cool. Yeah, everybody should be on-chain using Helius RPCs. So, I mean, Cindy, you already kind of touched on it here about why Solana, but I mean, I think the theme of this is Solana Summer. And so let's just kind of start with Chris again and kind of talk about from first principles why you're actually building on Solana instead of the other chains. And Chris, also let us know if you would like to call Sonic an L2 or network extension.
Yeah, we'll answer the first part first. So our entire team, coming from a gaming background, electronic arts, NetEase, ByteDance, we were all individually working on gaming, or what we call digital asset distribution, before there were crypto assets. So selling content to a global audience was something that we were kind of endeavoring for a while before Solana. And in 2021, early 2022, we got introduced to the Solana Foundation through various means, and really kind of explored different platforms for asset launches. So we helped a lot of games that were kind of venturing to Web3 launch their NFT assets, their token assets, or any other kind of standards that you would have later on. During this mix, we actually launched on OpenSea, we launched on Magic Eden, and a lot of other platforms as well, Binance IGO, when that was a thing. And what you realize is that there is a really fundamental difference in the user experience of Solana to everything else. And that is, for one reason, because of the chain level innovations that was possible at the time, but also because every single founder and builder on top of the chain itself really valued user experience, speed, cost, and all of those associated traits. So that was the first kind of trait that led us into Solana. And later on, what we realized is that there are three major reasons that we stuck on top of the chain. The first one is a decentralized and natural or organic community that is not just run by Foundation itself, but also by wonderful people at Super Team, at Solar, in different geographic regions that are very, very key to the project. The second is that there is a matched on-chain liquidity, enabled by folks like Drift, like Jupiter, and like Radium, and a lot of other wonderful people as well. And three, a network that is, we think that in the early days, it was a little wonky to build on Solana. The phrase was chewing on glass, and it really felt like that. But it is very interesting that in this cycle and these couple years, you hear that people only talk about only possible on Solana now, which I'm sure that Mert contributed a lot to as well. So we think that there is a very rapid development and iteration on top of the chain that allows us to build significantly faster than all the other gaming chain projects as well. So that's why we stick with Solana.
For me, I'm in operations, so my job is like doing settlements day in, day out. And so fast and cheap is very important for me. And that's Solana. When I settle on SBL, it's a lot faster than on ERC20, and it's also cheaper. Because we're on exchange, we do a lot of on-chain activity, so that's why it's like very, very important for us. And on top of that, there's a great culture and also a strong community within the ecosystem. We always get support everywhere we go to like pretty much like every country. There's always friends and family.
Yeah, for us, building a high-performance, low-latency exchange, being on the fastest chain is extremely important. If you're trading with 10, 100x leverage, you need to be able to confirm your transactions extremely quickly. There's no margin for error in a situation like perps trading. So Solana being a super high-performance chain and not having to trade off with security and decentralization was important because thinking about it from like, should we build on Solana versus our own app chain or L2 made a lot of sense for us to consider being on a monolithic chain where security was not an assumption that we had to take care of as an app builder. So that's kind of why we stuck with Solana throughout like the entire bear. It was the only chain that could actually support what we were doing. No L2 could have done that without significant decentralization trade-offs. And lastly, composability is a huge part of why Drift and why Solana as well. For instance, our spot order books actually draw liquidity from other exchanges on Solana itself. So having a unified pool of liquidity instead of fragmenting across different L2s and chains really made sense for us. And just like, as I mentioned, a huge asset selection. There's a reason why meme coins have been launching on Solana and not elsewhere. It's the easiest and cheapest place to deploy. So you get this very integrated effect of everything being in one place, not needing to swap wallets and whatnot. So yeah, that's why we've stuck with Solana all this time.
Cool. Oh, go ahead.
I actually want to hear your take too, Mert.
What was the
Solana.
question?
Why?
Oh, why? Yeah, I mean, so I used to work at Coinbase, and I was on the developer platform team, which powers things like Polygon. So Coinbase obviously supports all assets, but under the hood, you need to add APIs and infrastructure support to support all those chains. And basically, at that time, this was roughly 2-3 years ago now, I was super annoyed. I mean, I'm still super annoyed permanently at everything. But at that time, I was like, where the hell are these apps that we need to actually take crypto mainstream? And it was just kind of this infrastructure day after day. And it's still kind of like that. But basically, I was like, okay, if we are to accelerate crypto, we need to build apps. And I think Ethereum and EVM actually have a pretty good path towards this. And so I have nothing against that. But at the time, my thinking was, okay, for this to be successful, they need to solve a lot of conditional problems. So, the merge had to go through, the blobs had to go through, dang sharding has to go through, now there's fee capture things, L2s have to get to stage 2. There's a lot of kind of problems I need to solve still. And I was like, I just can't wait for that. And so why not just go to a chain that already works today and still has problems, of course, like outages and other types of problems. But at least there we can kind of build things to give app developers the tools they need today to build apps. And basically, so lack of patience would be my answer. But let's talk about something super serious now. Meme coins. So what do you guys think about meme coins? Let's start with Cindy this time and go the other way around. What do you think about meme coins? Do you think they're extractive? Our glorious protocol revenue, their barbarous fee extraction? And do you think they're net good, bad? Does it even make sense to think of it on those terms?
Yeah, I think that meme coins in general are a symptom of just degenerate gambling at the end of the day. And it actually democratizes coin creation and market creation. So at the core of it, I'm all for it because we love having new assets like people like to trade. It creates, it basically is an unbounded prediction market at the end of the day. To kind of bring it back to our recent launch, it's meme coins are a fundamental way to bet on what you think an outcome is going to be or a piece of news. So we kind of see it as like sentiment markets. Like if a piece of news happens, 10 meme coins are created about it. And once it stops being relevant, the price of the meme coin goes down. So it's pretty interesting to tie that into attention culture and what gets spun out of it. But I am a net fan of it because I think even though the pump not fun style launches can be extractive for the ecosystem, overall they create trading volume. It puts the power in the hands of users and traders to determine what's interesting, what's not. And I'm very excited to see it actually being integrated in social apps better because I do think it tracks attention in a very pure way.
I agree with Cindy. I like the meme coin culture quite a bit. I do think that it brings quite a good variety of people into the ecosystem. But my concern is it's quite easy for a good meme coin project to raise money, which actually quite distracting for the real builders. But overall, I'm all for it.
So we internally talk about meme coins quite a bit because of three major reasons in respect to our project. The first one is we think of games and why Web3 games is important in that regard because games are natural launch pads and hosts of assets. So all kinds of assets that you can think of, NFTs, token, SPL20, meme coins, such and so forth. As long as there is a category of assets that exist, games can host that asset. So you see, PvP games with NFT versus NFTs, spending games that can, shard these NFTs and stake into the platform itself, and all kinds of kind of playability on top of it. So the more assets there are and different standards exist, the more complex and interesting or innovative play mechanisms can kind of exist on top of those games. The second reason why we like meme coins is because games also kind of dApps is all about user acquisition. At least that is one very large aspect of it. And for user acquisitions to happen, especially in this cycle, you see inflows from ETFs, you see inflows from traditional Wall Street traders going to Bitcoin. But for Solana, a large extent to which we have been kind of growing our ecosystem is actually from the meme coin acquisitions as well. So the wealth effect is one part of it, but the memes that is kind of underlying the coin itself has very, very wide virality and allows us to get a lot of new users. Actually, if you see the early innings of this bull cycle, a lot of the growth actually came from Coinbase's wallet or from other centralized exchange wallets that listed those meme coins. And then the third aspect of meme coins that we value internally a lot is that we think about this economy as a attention economy, and we're trading attention ultimately. And memes have the highest condensed information form to any type of community that is kind of capturing that attention. So a line of text on X might hold certain bits of information, but memes carry a lot of emotional value and community value inherent with that, dog with hat, right? So those are the 3 reasons why we like it.
Cool. Well, I mean, you guys are all working on some pretty exciting stuff. So I want to talk about kind of what's next, what you're excited about on your own protocols, but also maybe Solana as a whole. Cindy, you guys just launched Bet. I believe it's actually called just Bet, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a prediction markets platform similar to Polymarket, but on Solana. And you guys already have quite a bit of liquidity. And I think somebody told me you might put up a market about me getting arrested in Singapore from doing nicotine. And so, pretty useful stuff. What should, first of all, how should people get started? And why are you so excited about prediction markets? And then let's kind of just go down and talk about why we're excited about Cube and Sonic in the future.
Yeah, for us as a trading platform, we care a lot about extending tradability to assets, and we don't want to stop at just crypto assets, right? Like, yes, we love betting on the price of Sol going up, but if we extend that concept of what is actually tradable, bringing anything, any outcome or world event into the mix is what we want to do, and that's why extending the concepts from meme coins to prediction markets that actually settle to the value of an outcome was a very interesting next step for us, because we're essentially taking what is on Solana to what is happening in the world. Everything from who's going to win the U.S. elections, which is our biggest markets right now, to small markets like, is Mert going to get arrested in Singapore? We recently also launched breakpoint debate markets. Iggy Azalea, Eric Wall are going to be debating on celebrity meme coins. And it's very interesting to capture these like small audiences and micro groups that all have vested interest in the outcome of the asset. So yeah, we're very excited about that because you're essentially bringing true RWAs on chain via the creation of prediction markets. And yeah, to get started, we just launched 2 weeks ago with already 3 million in liquidity and 25 million cumulative traded already. You can just go on app.drift.trade/bet and yeah, start placing bets.
For Cube, we try to expand more. It's all about user acquisition. And on what I really focus on is liquidity. In Solana, the DEXs are doing so well that it's hard to compete, especially on the long tail assets. The other one is we try to target different regions. What's going to be with LATAM and then Asia. Our other focus is on our mobile app. So we're going to have a mobile app very soon. And the goal is to make sure that it's user-friendly. We want to make sure this Web3 experience is more like a Web2 experience where people don't have to re-enter private keys every time and so on.
Yeah, for Sonic, there are 3 key milestones that we're aiming for. The first one is 3 million active wallets. We're currently at 1.8, so that's the next goal. The second is mainnet, and hopefully by the next quarter, we should have mainnet ready. And then the last milestone that we often think about is the number of gaming teams as well as gaming users that we onboard into the ecosystem. And I wanted to circle back to Mert's question. I totally blanked out. Didn't want to avoid that. So we sometimes call ourselves an L2 to the retail users in Asia that do not differentiate between a SVM rollup or a SVM L2 or a network extension. And we sometimes think of ourselves as a network extension when we think about the utility Sonic SVM brings to Solana, basically bringing gaming as an entire economy or ecosystem into Solana, which previously have great teams working on, but not so extensively. So we ultimately think that the words here matter differently to different people, but we're just trying to build a gaming ecosystem on top of Solana.
Cool. All right, so we have 29 seconds. It's in the red. I'm getting scared. Let's do a very quick flash lightning round. Most underrated app on Solana that is not anybody here's protocol. Let's start with Chris. Most underrated, yeah.
Most underrated apps on Solana.
Just one.
I think Pump is still underrated. It might be a hot take.
Okay, there's this app. It's called either Moonwalk or Moon Fitness. I forgot about the name, but it's supposed to count your step and then
Moonwalk.
put it on Moonwalk,
Yeah.
on smart contracts. So I like that very much.
Yeah, I think there's like a sleep to earn or a vape to earn project that just launched. I forgot the name, but that's pretty cool.
And my answer is Helius. All right, thank you. That's all.